747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Don't let those first-round draft grades distract you from the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves beat the living will out of those Denver Nuggets. Hit it.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. It is your boy Theo Dorsey. It is Theoretically Speaking. It is Friday, April 24th, day one of the NFL Draft behind us, in the rear view. 32 picks, not 32 teams, because there was plenty of teams with multiple picks. Heck, the Jets made 3 selections. Jets hopped in there and said, how can we mess this thing up 3 times? I say that facetiously because I actually did like their draft. But most importantly, the stat I want to just always remember to keep with you about 2026's first round of this NFL draft was that as all of the experts pieced together their mock drafts and the people that get paid the big bucks to have the intel and the insights and they review film and then they talk to coaches and GMs and all of the fun stuff, all the great stuff that comes along with the NFL draft. I love the process. I love it. Your boy Theo Dorsey and Cade Chumslin, who teamed up to put out the very first mock draft of the first round. We went 6 for 32, baby. Cue the applause, Damian. I just need some love right now. Cue the applause. Damian Perez on the other side of the glass on the ones and twos. He's actually not here with me. If you can see us on YouTube at ESPN South Florida, or if you can just tell by the sound of my voice, if you're used to what we usually are typically kicking it with, I'm here at Kaiser University. Tonight is the ESPN Top 63 Awards. We are going to be crowning the top players all throughout high school basketball. I'm talking about Palm Beach County. I'm talking about the Treasure Coast. We're crowning all senior teams. We're going to come back around and also make sure we rank the top 63 players that are going to be hooping on both sides. It's going to be a wonderful explorer. It's going to be a wonderful affair. Second year doing this in basketball. We've done it for over a decade when it comes to, high school football, and it's going to be a great time. We call this thing like a draft night type celebration for the players in this area. And last night was actually draft night in the NFL. And the thing that I love most about what I saw last night was it is a feel-good Friday. And there were so many moments that I absolutely loved, that I feel good about. And I am looking forward to talking about those things. Damian Perez, man, how you kicking it over there, man? You're Dolphins fans. You got 2 selections. How run the 10. How confident are you?
Good afternoon, Theo. Happy Feel Good Friday. Last night was wild, not just because of the draft. We got some crazy NBA games, some upsets, I'd say, some surprises. The Dolphins, I don't know. I'm going to have to see how this draft finishes. I like that we moved back and got 2 fifth-round picks, so that's 2 players that we're essentially going to be drafting in this draft that are quote-unquote extra. But I feel like the Dolphins left some talent on the board last night with their pick. But everything I've heard about Proctor is that he's a freak athlete. He's 6'7", he's massive, he's versatile, he's very athletic for a big guy. So excited to see how the rest of this draft goes. And I would wait to say how I like the 2 picks that we had last night to see what we draft in the remainder of this draft. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. We're going to have Jonathan Zaslow join us. He's the voice of the 305. He, a Dolphins fan like you, he'll tell us later on in the show how he feels about this draft. I will tell you, of course, number 1 overall was Fernando Mendoza. He went to the Las Vegas Raiders. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that he was going to be the guy that got selected. He kicked it at his crib with his family out in Miami. He went number 1 overall. Back-to-back years, a quarterback goes number 1. Back-to-back years, quarterbacks tied to South Florida go number 1. Mendoza, South Florida native. Cam Ward, of course, a former Miami Hurricane. And also, Damian, those are back-to-back years that guys that I got a good chance to sit down with one-on-one during ACC kickoff throughout the ACC's off-season programs to talk about what it would look like for their college campaigns. They go off the board number 1 overall. So that was it wasn't necessarily the headliner of the night because the Mendoza pick got shadowed by the other quarterback that was picked at number 13 overall in Ty Simpson. That was a shocker. That was a surprise as Matthew Stafford is fresh off an MVP campaign. Ty Simpson, quarterback Alabama, gets drafted with a pick that you would assume the Rams, who for the past 2 years have been knocking on the door of entering the Super Bowl again, you would assume they would have wanted to draft somebody that can help them win now, but no, a bit of a win. I always find it a bit repelling when teams try to play it both ways and, win now but set yourself up for the future. The Rams are trying to teeter both sides of the fence here. We'll see years down the line how that pans out. But what we definitively know is the story of this draft, especially for those around South Florida that know just exactly what the guy Ruben Bain, number 4 for the Miami Hurricanes, was the fall of Bain, who at one point was considered a top 10 draft pick. But the home that he landed at, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at 15 overall, I do feel like was one of those feel-good moments. So without further ado, Damian, how about we kick in that NFL draft music, and on a feel-good Friday, I'm going to give you all my top 5 feel-good moments from round 1 of the NFL draft. Top 5 feel-good moments. Now, this is going to be subjective. And unlike the draft grades that you're reading through trying to figure out whether or not the Giants at 5 and 10 made good value out of these picks, it's not just about value. It's not just about player production. It's not just about projecting who these guys are going to be. It's about me feeling good about the situation at hand. So without further ado, Damian Perez, let's get this thing started. Top 5. This one for me is easy. I can't tell you how both ironic and also elating it had to feel for Mekhi Lemon, who went number 20 overall in the first round to the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you haven't heard this story, Mekhi Lemon, as he was sitting in the green room, he was actually there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, got a phone call while the Dallas Cowboys were on the clock at 20 overall. He got a phone call not from the Cowboys, but from the team picking at 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And as he was on the phone, it's reported by Peter Schrager with NFL Network, as he was on the phone with the Steelers discussing what a joy it was going to be to go and play alongside DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman and catch balls from who the hell knows, because we're still waiting to see if Aaron Rodgers is going to show up and play football for the Steelers. We get a buzz. We get a notification. The Cowboys traded their pick to in-division rival Philadelphia Eagles? Again? Last time the Cowboys and the Eagles made a draft day trade in the first round, it was about 4 or 5 years back for the guy that was widely considered the best wide receiver in football, Devonta Smith, as they traded up from 12 to 10 with those Cowboys to select the Heisman Trophy winner. This time around, they jumped the Steelers. And as Mekhi Lemon is on the phone, Howie Roseman and the Eagles couldn't even get on the line with Mekhi Lemon and let him know he was the pick. So if you're watching the draft from home and you're watching it happen on TV, Mekhi Lemon hears his name called at 20 to not go to the Cowboys, but to go to the Eagles. Simultaneously, he just is getting off the phone with the Steelers, who he thinks he's going to at 21. And I'm sure he was thinking, oh, hell, I'm an L.A. dude. Not only do I got to pick up my bags and go to Pennsylvania to go play in the Steel City, to go play in Pittsburgh with a curmudgeon at quarterback, a guy that is kind of half telling it in the offseason and not necessarily showing up like a guy that wants to go out and compete at the highest level. Also, this all is compounded with the fact that we all thought Mekhi Lemon was going to be that number 13 pick. I talk about the Rams getting Ty Simpson there. He's ticked off. He's shocked. He is worried. He's nervous. He hears his name called. He's going to the Philadelphia Eagles. Damian Perez, this is a feel-good moment because I know that it is an upgrade to go from thinking you're going to be a Steeler to an Eagle, have a better shot at competing for championships. Also, for Mekhi Lemon, to know a team traded up to go and get you in the draft, that means they got plans on you, big dog. They got plans on using Mekhi Lemon to the ultimate level for his career, and I think he's in good hands in Philadelphia. I don't care what you think about Jalen Hurts. Mekhi Lemon is happy to be going to him instead of the question mark at quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, in addition to that, I mean, you mentioned it. In Pittsburgh, he would have had to compete with DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman, who they recently signed this offseason. Instead, he's going to a Philadelphia Eagles, number 1, Super Bowl winning quarterback, A.J. Brown is a
Yes.
foot and a half foot out the door. So really, you have the opportunity to be a 1B, maybe 1A, only competing with Devontae Smith. But I think they can complement each other very, very well.
They will, and I do think that Mekhi Lemon does something well that the Eagles want to focus their offense on going forward, and that is passing the ball over the middle of the field. Intermediate passing game is something that Jalen Hurts has struggled with, especially over the middle of the field. They're getting him the guy that did it best in college last year, Mekhi Lemon, and I can only imagine the joy he had knowing that he was going from quarterback purgatory to a place that has a franchise quarterback. Mekhi Lemon, the fifth feel-good moment on a feel-good Friday from day one of the NFL draft. Let's go on to the next one.
Number 4.
This one here is going to be more specific. It's going to be more specific to how I felt watching the draft. Because if you are a fan and the first round is going down and you're seeing Roger Goodell walk up to the podium and make picks and you're seeing these superstars get excited and going from team to team and you're like, man, I want that dude. That dude's good. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And it felt great. And I'm telling you, it always feels better this way than the other way. It felt great to see that the Chiefs in the first round traded up. They moved up to get a guy. They offloaded third and fifth round picks to the Cleveland Browns to get up to 6, and they went out and got Mansour Delane. Now, I am not a scout at all. I do know that the scouts and the experts around here say that Mansour Delane is the best corner in this draft by far. I do think that number 6 felt a little pricey. But when and this is for all of the teams, the fans of teams out there that had their team actually trade up for a guy and not trade back, I am speaking for all of us together collectively. It feels good to know that your guys not only sought out somebody that can help your team win, but also didn't care about future capital to jump up there and get him. So we'll see how good Mansour Delane is out of LSU, but this goes out to all of those fans of the Cowboys, who y'all jumped up as well to get your guy Caleb Downs. Fans of teams like all of the dudes at the back end of the first round that jumped up to get guys before the first round closed. Damian, did you hear how many picks or how many trades were actually made yesterday in the first round?
I believe it was at 3.
16. There were 16 transactions. It didn't feel like it, right?
It did not.
Because the front half of the draft was really slow. But when it came to the last 10 to 12 picks, it was trade after trade after trade. And I understand that this was happening simultaneously as, like I said, those Minnesota Timberwolves were unwinding and unbuckling their belt and then deciding to wield it unwillingly. I mean, just absolutely just in a very abrasive way against those Denver Nuggets. So maybe you're a little distracted, but yes.
And
it was move after move after move.
They happened so quick. Like, for example, the Dolphins were sitting there at 11, moved back one spot, but it just happened so quick. I mean, Mekhi Lemon was on the phone with the team that was literally going to draft him, and within seconds, a team traded up to get him. So like you mentioned, it was trades that happened in split seconds. So you really had to pay attention.
The next feel-good moment from the NFL drafts day one, this one's easy for me.
Number 3.
Jordan Tyson, number 8 to the New Orleans Saints. Jordan Tyson, who spent the last 2-3 months, if you're not familiar with the guy, Arizona State wide receiver. For the past 2 or 3 years, people have been anticipating this very moment. We've known he was going to be a first-round draft pick at some point whenever he decided to come out. He decided to come out this year. Here's a guy that has been much maligned by the injury. He has been unavailable for his team because of several different moments in his college career where his body had failed him. ACLs, MCLs, collarbones. It just kept happening to him. And the latest injury he had was a hamstring. The hamstring injury held him out from being able to compete in the combine. It pushed his pro day all the way back until about a week ahead of the draft. But lo and behold, Jordan Tyson, who had to listen to all of the pundits and idiots like myself talk down on him, talk about how, availability is the best ability, talk about how his shortcomings when it comes to being able to keep his body healthy was going to be the thing that pushed him further and further down the draft boards for teams. No, talent won out, and the New Orleans Saints at number 8 overall picked Jaden Tyson. And here's the thing. I said Jalen Tyson. That's his brother with the Cavaliers. His brother with the Cavs was getting beat by the Raptors at that point. They go down 2-1. I mean, they're still up 2-1, but they lose in Toronto. But at the same time, You got Jordan Tyson crying tears of joy immediately. There was an emotional eruption out of Jordan Tyson when he heard his name get called, when he put that Saints cap on, and when he walked up to dap up Goodell. I learned everything I need to know about Tyson in that moment. Some people hate on athletes when they cry. I think that showing of emotion, that release of emotion to me shows me just how much you care. And I think he was probably very ticked off with the way people were talking about him in his game, and he can't wait to prove it out there on the field. The Saints, I think, got a good one. Damian, how did you consume that when you saw Tyson just like he could not hold it together? I think his trading card picture is going to have him tearing up with the ready eyes.
I love it. I mean, give me the guy that wears his emotions on his sleeves. It really shows that they care. And ultimately for these guys, they've worked so hard to reach this point of their life. And that pretty much just shows how much he cares and how much he's willing to give to the team that drafts him, too. I think that also plays into part.
It has to. It honestly absolutely has to. And Tyler Shuck was a quarterback that we had a lot of question marks about because of his health last year. The Saints picked him. It worked out. I think that them taking another risk on an injury-prone player is a risk. But if it pans out again, we could be talking about a team that back-to-back years, put them on the table and ended up being correct. And that could be the future of that Saints franchise right there that we're looking at. So we'll see how that pans out. We'll see how Kellen Moore coaches those guys up. But that was great. Definitely a feel-good moment for me. And I got a lot of fam out in New Orleans. I got fam in Nolens, so I know they're excited about what they're going to get out of a guy like Jordan Tyson. Feel-good moments from day one of the NFL draft as we get ready for round 2 and 3 tonight. Let's go to the next one.
Number 2.
At the number 4 pick in the draft, the Tennessee Titans not only selected a wide receiver 1 for my guy Cam Ward, they also picked a dude with the freshest suit in all of the NFL draft. I know some people want to give it to Mansour Delane. There's some for Dylan Thieneman, who went number 25 to the Chicago Bears, but my pick for freshest fit and best fit, if you will, because I think his fit in that Titans offense is going to be great, is Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate. It was dapper. He went with the kind of the off-white or tan. It was kind of a crop, but it wasn't a crop top necessarily. It had to crop in the back a little bit.
Right.
It had a little flair, a little flamboyance. But, hey, Damian, that's how I like my receivers.
Yeah.
I need my receivers to be divas.
You got to have personality.
You got to have personality. You got to demand the football. And anybody that questioned whether or not Carnell Tate could be a wide receiver 1, anybody that questioned whether or not Carnell Tate could be the dog, the alpha in an offense because he was playing alongside our guy Jeremiah Smith, who clearly ate up all the targets at Ohio State. That should tell you his draft night fit, as well as the fact that the Titans selected him number 4 overall. You don't take a guy that high unless you plan to feature him in your offense. That should tell you everything you need to know about what Carnell Tate can be in this league. He's a big body receiver. He can beat you deep. Got some of the best hands in all of the draft. And then also, he's got the best tailor. Out of all 32 dudes, at least the ones that were in the green room that showed face in Pittsburgh last night, Carnell Tate had the best threads. So that was a feel-good moment for me to see my guy Cam Ward finally get properly fitted with an actual receiver that can help him be, above the competence line in the NFL. He was out there throwing the 4th and 5th rounders last year in Tennessee. He's got an offensive coordinator in Brian Daboll. He's got a wide receiver 1 in Carnell Tate. Cam Ward's sophomore season is about to explode,
and
I'm excited
Robinson.
for that. Wan'Dale Robinson, you get
Underrated
out of free
pickup.
agency.
Yeah.
Where did he come from?
The Giants.
And that's exactly where you got your OC, Brian Daboll, from. And last year when the Giants were on the clock in the draft, they were sweating. They were a little ticked off because they were the ones that wanted specifically Cam Ward. Now Daboll has Cam Ward, and he has a wide receiver 1. I can't wait to see what that Titans offense looks like now. Excited for Cam Ward. That was a feel-good moment. But it doesn't top this one.
Number 1.
Reuben Bain, also like Jordan Tyson, had to spend the last month and a half, 2 months, with people complaining about arm length, people bringing up stuff from his past 2 years ago, an accident that isn't indicative of his character. It's just more so indicative of one bad mistake, one bad night that went terribly wrong for him. Reuben Bain Jr., edge rusher for the Miami Hurricanes, went 15th overall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I want to say, Damian, every mock draft that I had seen up to this day didn't have him going nowhere past 10, maybe 12. And those were the wonky ones. Reuben Bain was the most dominant edge rusher in college football last year. 9.5 sacks for the team that finished runner-up in the college football playoff. He was the culture setter for the Miami Hurricanes. He was a guy that under-recruited out of high school, outperformed the expectations in his 3 years with the Miami Hurricanes. He was an ACC Defensive Player of the Year. He plays with so much force and so much passion. Every single round of the playoffs, there was an offensive lineman or a player on the other side talking down on what they thought Bain could do. He used it as bulletin board material, and he shoved their faces in the dirt. Ruben Bain Jr. is going to be an absolute dog. I cannot believe the Miami Dolphins at 12 overall passed on Bain, passed on that dude. John Eric Sullivan, you looked us in the face. Jeff Hafley, you looked us in the face, and you told us time and time again that you wanted guys that were football players, that loved football, that were culture guys, that you didn't have to motivate, that you didn't have to put a fire under, but instead they would be the ones holding each other accountable. And what do? You pass up on the guy that you had right in your backyard in Ruben Bain Jr., and you draft a guy out of Alabama in Caden Proctor, an offensive tackle, who the only thing that people have said negatively about this 6'7", 350-pound tackle, this mammoth of a man, is that he's not a self-starter, is that he's not very motivated, is that sometimes he comes into camp overweight. And who said these things about him? Oh, only his college football coach, Nick Saban, a guy that, has no reason to be lying at this point. One of the greatest, if not greatest all-time coaches in any sport. I like Caden Proctor as a project, as a person that, I'm not saying he's going to be a bad football player. If the Dolphins were looking for somebody to set the culture with that number 12 pick as they traded back with the Cowboys, I am befuddled, mystified, bewildered. I am just absolutely floored that they did not go with Ruben Bain Jr., and I think Bain is going to prove to them and everybody else that passed on him that the Buccaneers got the steal of the draft. That is the feel-good moment of the draft. That is the story of the draft, the Ruben Bain slide and the landing spot for him to go to that Todd Bowles defense with Tampa Bay. I believe this is going to be a guy that is going to be a culture setter on that side of the ball for the Bucs, which their defense has been struggling as compared to what they used to be. They've been struggling over the past couple of years. He's going to bring a force off of that edge that we're familiar with here in South Florida and that they're going to love in Tampa. Damian, as a Fins fan, were you also surprised that they didn't pull the trigger on Bain at 12?
I was so surprised. I mean, Ruben Bain kept dropping, and I thought the Dolphins moving back. When they moved back, it was a for sure thing. Yeah, it was a for sure thing the Dolphins were going to draft not just a player that you fill a need on the field, you get a game wrecker on the field, but like you said, you get a locker room presence. You get someone that's going to set a culture. In my opinion, was a miss by Miami Dolphins, and I talked myself into keeping hope, seeing how the rest of the draft plays out.
Yeah.
But
at this point, you have to have hope.
That one hurt, man. That was someone who played here in Miami, who would have fit perfectly. It made all the sense, and they passed on him. So we'll see how the rest of the draft plays out. But yeah, Theo, that one definitely hurt.
That had to hurt, and I agree with you that as a fan at this point, look, man, we can't project out what's going to happen over the next 2-3 years. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. You have to be hopeful. You have to be optimistic about who your team got because, damn it, you're a fan, and you're going to wave them pom-poms no matter what. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you hope that Chris Johnson, the corner out of San Diego State, and Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama, you hope that they are home run picks. You at least hope that they're doubles. And for me, I think that they will be good. But I know that Ruben Bain Jr. has potential Hall of Famer written all over him. Last time the Tampa Bay Bucks drafted a Miami Hurricane in the first round, the last time they took a guy with that much power and force out of Coral Gables, he was a future Hall of Famer in Warren Sapp Jr.
I mean, that had Cameron Wake. That had Cameron Wake written all over it. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan.
I can't believe the Dolphins passed on him. I can't believe the Dolphins passed on him. And I think the Buccaneers getting him and the reaction from Ruben Bain, the celebration with his family, the walk to the podium, the tone in which he spoke with I believe it was Laura Rutledge on the ESPN broadcast.
Yep.
On the podium there after he got drafted, you can tell that is a man who is ready to be unleashed, and he is going to wreak havoc on the NFL. He talked about it. He said it at every single stage. They've doubted him every stage, and Ruben Bain Jr. is going to prove it one more time, this time in the NFL. And that, to me, is the number one feel-good moment. Ruben Bain being one of 3 Miami Hurricanes going in the first round. But most importantly, sometimes it's not about how you fall, how hard you fall, where you fall. It's about who's there to pick you up along the way. What village is there around you along the way? And as Ruben Bain was falling, not only did he have his family right there that he was able to celebrate with, that they held their hands out and picked him up, but I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise did the same thing. Again, as I'm using a metaphor here, did the same thing as they picked up the falling sword here. And Ruben Bain is going to be a threat, and he's going to be a problem. And when the Dolphins have to face up against the Buccaneers, I think he's going to remember that Miami passed on him the same way that college football programs across the nation passed on him when he was in high school.
And Theo,
Ruben Bain's going to turn things around there for the Bucs.
You talked about suit game earlier. I mean, Ruben Bain, not just Ruben Bain, his entire family. I mean,
tough.
What a theme. I guess they went with a theme. Yeah, it was like a light brown, but they all had the same kind of theme. They all had that strictly business look. You talk about swag. I think Ruben Bain has to fall into that category too.
He's the guy. He's the guy. Day one of the NFL draft is behind us. Feel-good moment of the draft. You call in and let us know. Hit us on the Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776. That's the number to join the show, 888-760-3776. What was your feel-good moment from the NFL draft as we continue things on here on Theoretically Speaking, as I do so again from Kaiser University? Hit us up on that Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776. Zaslow joining the show on the other side. And as you know, the Baptist Health Hotline welcomes you to being treated like a pro. Because Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, it's what they do. It's what they want to do for you. They want to get you back going. I know that we have some hustlers on the weekend, some weekend warriors, some people that like to get after it. And if you're one of those, I need you to listen up, because I know that kind of effort on your body at this age can be derailing. I was just shooting around here at the Kaiser University basketball gym, and as I'm shooting around, I realized, oh, man, I better not push off too much off this right leg, because I've been feeling a little something in my ankle, and I don't want that to turn into something ugly. I ain't trying to be out here limping around just because I was over here doing a shootout against my guy, Chris Swagger, AD of Kaiser, and Mike Rizzo with Russo and Rizzo. It's not worth it. But it is worth it to pull up with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care and get right. BaptistHealth.net/ortho. That's the website. BaptistHealth.net/ortho. If an injury is keeping you from what you love, our expert team is here to get you back in the game. It's trusted by the pros and ready for you, because everyone deserves pro-level care. Visit BaptistHealth.net/ortho to learn more. BaptistHealth.net/ortho. 888-760-3776. Your feel-good moment from day one of the NFL draft. On the other side, that is Damian Perez. I'm Theo Dorsey. We are Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Yair Holtzman, partner and leader of Anshin's Research and Development Tax Credits Group.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act restored full expensing of domestic research and development expenditures, allowing businesses to deduct qualifying costs immediately or choose among different tax treatments. Beginning with tax years after December 31st, 2024, special elections for small businesses can be applied retroactively. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we help businesses develop a proactive tax plan, identify qualified activities and expenses, and optimize cash flow and tax benefits. If your business is investing in U.S.-based R&D and looking to maximize incentives while remaining compliant with tax law, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen, and yes, I can hear your entire speakerphone conversation in the frozen food aisle. I now know about your cousin's refinance, your dog's rash, and your firm stance on gluten. None of that needed a live audience. If we're broadcasting to strangers, make it ESPN 106.3.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com.
That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com.
Need an extra boost? With Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union, you can earn up to $700 each year with a 7.0% annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's real money for real moments, like a family getaway or treating yourself to something special. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2026 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2026 Defender 110 P300S for just $909 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals are back in Jupiter all summer long. 6 days a week at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Come enjoy the best ticket deals and membership packages in Palm Beach County, like Silver Slugger Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Kids Club Saturdays, the Frozen Iguanas, and so much more. To purchase tickets, membership packages, and find out more information on the Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals, visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Free trial of 7 days. If customer does not cancel prior to the end of a trial period, fees will apply.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
So let it rip. Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
See, this is why I love the good people of Theoretically Speaking, especially when you hop in the YouTube stream and you give me some good intel like this. I'm always welcome to that. At ESPN South Florida, jump in the YouTube stream and let us know what's going down. I can't be surfing the web, entertaining y'all, prepping up for ESPN Top 63 tonight. Doing all. I can't do all these things at the same time. So appreciate you, Cap for Life, who hopped in the YouTube stream. He says the Miami Dolphins are rumored to move up into the second round tonight. 2 second rounders possibly, and I happen to, those rumors seem like they could be spot on because I didn't realize it. But yes, the Dolphins are right now the only pick they hold in the second round is their original pick, 11th, 43rd overall in the second round. This thing's going to tee off later on tonight, the second and third rounds, day 2 of the NFL draft. And they still have a lot of needs to concern. They have their cornerback in Chris Johnson, but guess what? Last year they had -3 cornerbacks, so they might need to draft 1 or 2 more if they want to feel good about the DB room. They did get a tackle in Caden Proctor out of Alabama who could potentially slide in and play guard as well. But again, you just got you another prospect, just a big, beefy offensive lineman that can help pave the way for a guy like Malik Willis and also for Devon Achane. Because, again, you're going to see a lot of handing off, a lot of RPOs, and a lot of quick passes out of that Dolphins passing attack, especially because they don't have any weapons on the outside right now. I would be shocked if the Miami Dolphins didn't jump back into the second round and get a second pick on top of where they're at right now with number 11 tonight, because tonight is supposed to be, the story of tonight is going to be the amount of wide receivers that go off the board here in the second round. And the Dolphins are probably the #1 most neediest team at wide receiver in the NFL. I feel safe saying that. I feel safe saying that, especially after the Jalen Waddle trade. Damian Perez is out there in the ESPN West Palm studios. I'm here at Kaiser University ahead of the ESPN Top 63 Awards. And, Damian, do you feel that way as well? I mean, who's your #1 receiver right now as a Dolphins fan?
Is it Tolbert? Malik Washington? I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, Theo, it's Achane. Yeah. It's got to be Achane.
Yeah.
Don't know if he'll stick around. I hope he does. But I think the Miami Heat. The Miami Dolphins have the pieces to move up into that second round. We picked up just one extra draft pick last night, trading back with the Cowboys, both fifth rounders.
Yep.
But
no, I think you got two. I think you got two fifth rounders out of them.
Right. But
believe.
net is one extra since the one pick was used. But regardless,
Gotcha.
they got the pieces to move up into that second round. And if they do move up into that second round, I completely agree with you. The glaring need is wide receiver. I mean, they got to go wide receiver. After seeing a few of the better wide receivers, the top wide receivers, go in that first round, you got to get one in the second.
One thing I can also guarantee is there's going to be a lot of shuffling. Dolphins or not, there's going to be a lot of shuffling in the top 10 tonight in the second round because there's a lot of teams. I mean, there's contenders, there's rebuilders. I mean, we got the Niners, the Cardinals, the Bills, the Raiders, the Giants, the Texans, the Browns, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Saints, and then the Dolphins. There's a lot of teams with different needs that are at different stages right now in their building process. I anticipate a lot of movement, and it's not just because we're getting those reports. It's because of what I saw happen on the back end of round one. Clearly, these are picks where teams are starting to feel like, hey, the talent gap between this guy and this guy is starting to flatten out between like 20 and 45, and people are moving around to make sure they get the one guy that they feel like sticks out. We're going to go to the Baptist Health Hotlines. It's a Feel Good Friday. We're talking about the feel-good moments from this NFL draft, including obviously round one that started with Fernando Mendoza going off the board, and then the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks selected Jadarian Price at 32 to get us rolling into the second round. The Baptist Health Hotline is 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. And Michael is in Wellington, and Michael joins us on a Feel Good Friday. Mike, what's got you feeling good this Friday?
Theo, happy Friday, fellas. Hey, Tampa Bay. I like it. We had a big hole on that outside, and I really like this edge we got in there.
So you're excited about Ruben Bain. You had at all the mock drafts, all the podcasts you listen to, everything you listen to about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At any point, did anybody say Bain might fall to you?
No, I've been hearing Sadiq. So when Bain was there, like you said, the sword fell. We picked it up. This guy's a dog. Plays a little scrappy. He brings that a-hole mentality to the defensive side we need, and kind of got a little bit of Warren Sapp in him, if I do say so myself. That kind of attitude. So looking forward to it. That's my Feel Good Friday. Fire the cannons. Love the show. Have a good weekend, fellas.
Mike, we appreciate you. You are good people, and you are in good hands with Ruben Bain coming off of that edge. You said it best, and that's what the first thought I had was, oh my gosh, they just got their next generation era, their new age Warren Sapp. Doesn't play the same position. Warren Sapp was kind of like, he was considered more of like an undersized, D tackle. He was a guy that can rush the passer from the middle. Whereas Bain he can slide him inside, but a lot of his work is going to be done on the edge, and he was amazing for the Hurricanes in that way. But just a dude that plays with power, he plays with a lot of pizzazz. He plays with this nastiness to him, and he considered himself. Our guy Cameron Wolfe, NFL Network's very own, had an interview with Ruben Bain at his pro day out there in Miami, and he talked about everybody is complaining about my arm size. But he likened himself to the power and the punch that Mike Tyson in the 90s carried. Mike Tyson, if you go back and look at the statistics on, if you brought him to if you brought Tyson to some kind of NFL draft combine, then maybe all the measurables wouldn't work out all the way. You wouldn't necessarily pick him as the cream of the crop athlete. But when you turn the tape on and you watch what dudes' heads did when Mike Tyson put one of them hooks square into their temple, then you realize exactly what it is that people fear. Ruben Bain, a la Mike Tyson, a la the Warren Sapp of this draft. And I do think that him falling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to give them a Sapp-like presence on that defensive line. They won the draft. They won the draft by standing still at 15 and allowing Ruben Bain to fall to them. Congrats to the Buccaneers fans out there. You did it. Damian, we're back on the Baptist Health Hotlines. I want y'all's feel-good moments from the NFL draft. Round one is done. Maybe your feel-good moment is a moment that was negative for your rival. Maybe it was a moment that was good for your team. Who do we have here, Damian?
We got Jeff in Palm Beach Gardens.
Jeff is in Palm Beach Gardens. Jeff, you're joining us here on Theoretically Speaking. What's got you feeling good this Friday?
Jets, Jets.
Oh, my God.
Listen,
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Season ticket holder my whole life until I moved down here. And the 3 picks they got were good picks. Still managed to screw it up. But I have to be happy with the 3 picks they took off the board, especially after trading up to get the receiver from Indiana to put on the other side of Garrett Wilson. I think they did well in the first round. We'll see how they do in the second round, but any Jet fan should be happy with the picks they got. Yeah. They were 3 solid picks.
Jeff, I will say, and congratulations to you. It is a good day to hold your head high. You entered the round with 2 picks. You ended up having 3 selections in the first round, and now your only question is, how good can Geno Smith make this offense continue to compete? And secondarily, how bad can you be while still being entertaining to make sure you have a top pick in next year's draft so you can get that quarterback of the future? Like, that's what this is about, building the infrastructure so that next year you get the quarterback that can take you over the top.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be rough, but I've been used to misery my whole life with the Jets. It's going to be a tough one. Just
pop the champagne today.
They need to get some defense. They need to get some defenders in the second round because their defense was so bad last year. I think 8 great teams could have beat the Jets.
Jeff, I appreciate the call. I appreciate you living in the moment, too, living in the present. Don't think about last year. Don't think about the years of misery that you had before with the Jets. Don't even think too far ahead. Live in the moment. Be happy that at number 2 overall you got David Bailey out of Texas Tech, who's an absolute game wrecker off the edge. At 16 overall, you got the physical freak, the guy that broke every combine record in the book, in Kenyon Sadiq, a tight end out of Oregon, who is a run after guy. Geno just got to put the ball in his hands, and he'll do the rest. And that's the same thing that they say about Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver out of Indiana that the Jets got at 30 overall. I like him as a prospect. He played a lot in the slot last year for the Hoosiers. He can also play on the outside. And I'll never forget the moment in the national championship game where he made a Miami Hurricane cornerback touch earth. And he caught the ball, turned, gave him a little wiggle, and my boy was touching the ground, both hands. And if you don't remember that play, I'll liken it to what we saw Bones Highland do to the Denver Nuggets. Is Spencer Jones, I believe is his name, last night. Both hands on the ground playing twister while he picked up extra yards. Omar Cooper Jr. is really, 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 really good. The Jets got to feel good right now, Damian.
Yeah, it hurts to say it, but they had a great draft, or at least the first round. They got the best tight end possibly in the draft. The dude is an absolute unit. And then on the defensive end, he mentioned how bad the defense was last year. I think they addressed a big position and a player that not only can play edge, but can give you some minutes at linebacker as well. So it hurts to say it as a Dolphins fan that the Jets had a good first round in the NFL draft last night.
Yeah, they got to feel good. They got to feel good. They say David Bailey had the best get-off, most speed coming off the edge in the draft, Texas Tech edge. They got him at number 2. The question was, is it going to be Arvell Reese? Is it going to be David Bailey? They went with the guy that they felt like, we know what he is. We know where to put him. Reese, it seems like he's more of a projection. People don't know if he's going to be better as a linebacker. Can he play edge rusher? Can he rush the passer consistently at the next level? He didn't do it as much in college. I think he'll be a good football player for the Giants as well. But the Jets, they are not in a place right now where they can be taking guys who are a projection. They're not in a place right now where they can be, leaving things to chance. The New York Jets have to be they have to be risk adverse. They have to be, hitting, like we say, doubles in here in the draft. And with 3 picks in the first round, all 3 of these guys, I feel like they got to make good value, and they'll help them be competent. But again, Damian, next year, they got 3 picks in the first round this year because they traded back into number 30. Next year, the Jets actually have 3 first-rounders because of the willing and dealing they've done. They have their own pick. They have, I believe, the Cowboys pick because of the Quinnen Williams trade. And I want to say the Colts pick as well because of the Sauce Gardner trade. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but they got 3 first-rounders next year. I do know that for a fact. And based on what the Jets did last night, and, again, curious to see what they do over these next couple of days in this draft, I think what their mindset is, we're going to build the perfect infrastructure for us to go out and get a quarterback next year in the first round, one of the many guys that are projected to be there, and feel good about the future of our franchise. I wonder, at this point, though, is Aaron Glenn going to be a part of that? Can he show you enough with the guys that you're getting this year to retain his job? That's going to be the question around the Jets this year. As he says, Geno Smith is going to take them to the promised land. We got Jonathan Zaslow, who's going to join us on the other side, Damian. He's going to take us to the promised land, and the promised land more so being he's going to give us the real on the 305 and his Miami Dolphins, because they had 2 picks in the first round last night as well. I'm curious about the first one. I love the second one. He'll give us how he feels about it as the voice of the 305 here on Theoretically Speaking. Jonathan Zaslow going to join us on the other side. And keep on peppering the Baptist Health Hotline and the ESPN South Florida YouTube chat. Tell us your feel-good moments from your feel-good moment from yesterday that has you feeling good on a Feel-Good Friday. You let us know, man. I mean, I'm right here for you to celebrate, and you can pop that champagne bottle early, because if you're a Jets fan or a Bucks fan, you won't be doing it in February next year. You might as well get it out of the way right now. That's Damian Perez. I'm Theo Dorsey. Zaslow joins us on the other side. We are Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Hi, this is Evan Cohen. Listen to me in the morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on Unsportsmanlike.
So you've never been in a fight?
No. We had a coaches show at ESPN West Palm for then Northwood, now Kaiser basketball. And I was critical of the head coach on the air because I thought he got out-coached by a guy who was wearing sweatpants. I show up to the coaches show. The coach saw me, comes up to me and slaps me in the face. Like, I heard what you said. That coach is the late, great Rolly Massimino. Won a championship in 1985 in Villanova, and Rolly hit me in the face.
Wow. Right here on ESPN 106.3.
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500.
Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or BradleyAir.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hey, it's Tina. Okay, let's be real. When you need tires or a battery, you want someone you can actually trust, right? That's why I go to St. Lucie Battery and Tire. They've been keeping South Florida moving for over 50 years, and they're still family-owned. They've got all the big tire brands, plus batteries for pretty much everything. Their best price out the door guarantee means you know you're getting the best deal. So next time your car needs something, don't stress. Just go to St. Lucie Battery and Tire, slbt.com. Trust me, they've got you covered.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
The last time the Miami Dolphins picked 2 players in the first round of the NFL draft was 2021 when they went with Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama. That worked out pretty well. They got him at number 6. And then at 18 overall, they got Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami. Also, a pretty good pick. I would say it panned out despite, obviously, the injuries that derailed part of it and then them offloading him to the Eagles, I believe, for just a third-rounder last year. But I would say those are 2 hits when it comes to players that ended up being productive for the franchise. Last night, the Dolphins had 2 picks in the first round as well. At 12, they selected Caden Proctor, another Alabama guy. And at 27, they go with the cornerback. They go to cornerback Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. To address the Dolphins draft from round 1, we enter Jonathan Zaslow. Damian Perez hit the open. And we're going to get that open going, but just like when Roger Goodell is about to walk up to the podium, sometimes he delays because the pick isn't all the way in. But now the pick is in.
You might know him as the Cooper City Rattlesnake. He's the human flamethrower of Miami sports radio.
You could be a maniac without being a jerk.
The preacher of the Pat Riley gospel.
They don't complain. They don't make excuses. This is the NBA. Deal with it.
The mayor of Dolphins Delusion.
Can the Bills' offense keep up with the Dolphins' offense?
And the only guy who can go from breaking down the Panthers' power play to cutting a full-blown Ric Flair promo. Woo! Jonathan Zaslow is the voice of the 305. Presented by Anajar and Levine and Twin Peaks.
Zaz, you got 2 guys. You got 2 guys, man. You've been doing your draft research. You like what you got out of the Dolphins' first round picks?
No. No, I didn't like last night at all. I mean, I'm sure I was just like every other Dolphin fan, where you're hoping is this the world where Ruben Bain can possibly drop and be available to the Dolphins at 11? And the answer to that was no, because he would drop and be available to the Dolphins at 12. And they, it was very reminiscent of the Ted Ginn draft. And, Cameron, let's turn those thumbs this way, where Brady Quinn at the time, Dolphins needed a quarterback. Now, granted, Brady Quinn amounted to nothing in the NFL, and Ted Ginn actually had a much better career than Brady Quinn, but it seemed like such an obvious pick that year, and the Dolphin fan base doesn't forget it because they wanted Brady Quinn. And this year feels like even more of a no-brainer, where Ruben Bain is right there for you to take, and you wind up taking not just an offensive lineman, which is obviously so boring if you're a Dolphin fan, but you take an offensive lineman whose former coach Nick Saban, the day of the draft on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, said that this is a guy who that he's a good kid, but he is not a self-starter, meaning he doesn't self-motivate, meaning that you have to watch over him. You got to make sure that he stays on the things he needs to stay on, has trouble self-control wise when it comes to his diet, when it comes to weight, and in the building he's fine, but outside the building it could be a bit of an issue. And so for me, Theo, if you're the general manager of a team, a first-year general manager of a team that is rebuilding, your first draft, you're setting the foundation. All right, this is the pillar of your rebuild. All right, the first guy that you select, and the face of that team is a guy who is Coach Nick Saban, who, by the way, you always hear talk positively about his former players. and his former coach is telling you he has a problem when it comes to motivation. That's the guy that you're going to present to everybody and say, this is the face of our team. This is the face of our rebuild moving forward. It was such a no-brainer from a fan perspective. Talk about being able to buy yourself goodwill with the fan base. And we're not talking, Theo, we're not talking about a reach in Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain could have easily, like, when the Chiefs traded up to number 6, didn't you think they were trading up? Maybe they were going to get Ruben Bain. Like, this is a guy who could trade. This is a guy who could have went early in the draft. This is not a reach. And talk about being able to buy yourself goodwill with the fan base. It was such a no-brainer to make your customers happy. And instead, they went with someone who I think is super questionable.
That is the one thing that is paradoxical, at least, is I listened to all of the press conferences. I didn't go down there to Miami Gardens, but I listened to all of the press conferences between Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan, the new GM, the new head coach. I listened to the words that they uttered into the microphone about the kind of guys they wanted to define the Miami Dolphins going forward. And I'll be honest, just like you, Zaz, I don't know much about Caden Proctor as a teammate, as a guy, even as a prospect. I'm not out here grading left tackle play. But what I do know is, like you said, if Nick Saban is saying the guy has motivation issues and you're going to take him to South Florida now and put him in the one place, the one haven in which you literally – this has been the biggest issue with the Dolphins over the past 10 years. People talking about how guys get a little led astray by South Beach, about how guys are not held as accountable, about how guys are soft, about how guys are not willing to, go the extra step or be as motivated to compete. And you go and get that guy with all those question marks. And I do think in another world, I would be more okay with the Caden Proctor pick and I wouldn't have issues with it. But exactly what you said is why it's so confounding to me, because Ruben Bain is the exact opposite. He doesn't have the measurables, but he has the production on the field. He has, again, the fan base out here, at least a good amount of them, a good majority of them are familiar with his work or are fans of the Miami Hurricanes and would have loved that pick. And Ruben Bain is the ultimate serious culture-setting program, rebuilding type of guy. He did it with the Miami Hurricanes. Why wouldn't you trust him to do it again? And, oh, by the way, Zaz, who's y'all's pass rusher right now? Who's your guy off the edge?
I mean, they have Chop Robinson, but they really don't have any playmakers on the defensive side of the football. It's just, and then there's this, with the offensive line. All right, well, Patrick Paul's pretty good left tackle. All right. So, I mean, do you need him to play tackle? Really, and on the other side, Austin Jackson is a really good tackle. So do you need him playing there? No. So did they just draft a guard in the first round instead of drafting Ruben Bain? Like, it's really frustrating. Not a good start for John Eric Sullivan, if you ask me. I was really disappointed last night.
What I assume, Zaz, and I wonder if down the line we learn this, what I assume is that Ruben Bain was never in consideration for them. And I wonder if it's one of those things where it's simply put John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley, one of the two are one of those measurable guys where 33-inch arm length is the barometer. If you can't pass that, you can't be an edge rusher for me. I wonder if that's what we're going to learn down the line, because I also thought that Bain might go to the Ravens ahead of the Buccaneers as well, just because they needed pass rush help in the playoffs last year. But I'm curious if they weren't even ready. Like, nobody thought he was getting out of the top 10. So I wonder if the Dolphins never had him on the board and wasn't ready for that moment to make that decision. And I wonder the same for some of those other teams afterwards. But if this doesn't go right, we are going to go back and look at the first pick that this new regime had, and say, well, it was a layup right in front of you, and you went for the three-pointer, and you bricked it off the side of the backboard.
Yeah, like as far as it being a layup, maybe it wouldn't have worked out with Ruben Bain. But no one would be looking back and saying, wow, they shouldn't have taken Ruben Bain. Like, Ruben Bain would be getting all the blame if you selected him and he didn't work out. It was such a no-brainer. Yeah. It seemed like such a layup for this regime, and instead they went with someone. I don't want your first-round pick, especially your first-round pick, when it's one of the pillars of what you were supposed to be building here. I don't want that guy to have question marks. Like, I'd like it to feel like it's a home run.
Yeah. And we'll see. Maybe Proctor turns things around. Maybe what Saban said was a thing to help, reveal to him the things he needs to work on in his professional game. It wasn't comforting to know those things about him. And then when he did get up to the podium and when he did do his post-draft interview thing, one of the first things he was talking about is how he wants to be a playmaker and maybe split out wide. I was like, oh God, this is not.
Well, I mean, he did that some in school, of course. Bama let him do it. You know, he went out and caught screen passes. I don't think so, man. That's not what we're looking for.
Come on. I think y'all just drafted a guard. Are you excited at all about tonight, though? You got the 11th pick tonight. You got several picks over the next few days here. Are you?
No, like
it's
hard for me to get. It's hard for me to get jacked up. After the first night. The first night, the first round. The players. I'll be checking in who the Dolphins select, but the NBA has been way too good this week, so I'll be locked in with the NBA tonight. And also the Stanley Cup playoffs, obviously. So no, I won't be dialed into the NFL draft tonight. Like I'll obviously monitor what position players the Dolphins select, but it will not be on with the sound in the Zaslow Mansion. No.
You do not need. I will say you do not need day 2, day 3, day 4. You don't need those rounds necessarily to be the priority of attention, especially since we don't have. We're not front office members. We're just fans at this point. But can we talk a little hockey right quick? What's hot on the ice these days? I know with the Panthers not in it, a lot of South Floridians might not be as clued in. What's going down in the hockey playoff?
Well, tonight is Game 3. I'm way into Tampa Bay and Montreal. Obviously, we're hate watching the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that series is tied at a game apiece. The series shifts to Bell Center in Montreal. It's going to be a rabid crowd there tonight. So if you want to check out some incredible action, that's at 7 o'clock tonight, Tampa Bay and Montreal. And the Edmonton Oilers, all right, the Oilers and the Ducks are tied at a game apiece. That series shifts to Anaheim. That's tonight at 10 o'clock. And obviously, we're super familiar with the Oilers right now over the last couple of years. Connor McDavid has no points in the first 2 games of that series, and they're tied at a game apiece. So that's certainly interesting. Otherwise, look, the hockey's been phenomenal. Like Buffalo last night took a 2-1 series lead over Boston. I'm way into that series also. The hockey never fails you. So if you want to watch great competition, great sport, you watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I will say I've been very clued into the NBA playoffs, like you said. The statement
really good
that the Minnesota Timberwolves made last night for Jaden McDaniels to do what he did in Game 2 in Denver and then bark like he did in the locker room afterwards and say we went after the bad defenders and listed the boys off like Kendrick Lamar listed rappers off in Control, and then to double down on it and perform like they did last night, like that to me is going to end up being the story of this first round. If the Timberwolves do away with the Nuggets in a demonstrative fashion going forward here, we could be talking about a championship window that is barely peeping open for the Nuggets. I know they got Jokic, but out west it's only getting tougher and tougher. And if you can't get past the Wolves, then what makes me think you can get past some of those other teams up top?
Yeah, I love what Jaden McDaniels talks about after these games. He said it after Game 2. He's now said it after Game 3. And it feels like we're watching a playoff series from when I was growing up, where the teams hate each other. It's the playoffs; teams should hate each other. It's too much hugging and kissing. And I like that these teams. It's very quietly. It's a sneaky, great rivalry. The Wolves and the Nuggets. It's the 3rd time in 4 years that they're meeting in the postseason. And Rudy Gobert, look, he's been phenomenal this series. Jokic had as bad a playoff game you're ever going to see from him last night. So Minnesota, Denver's been great. Tonight, can the Lakers actually go up 3-0 on the Rockets? That's a major story. I don't believe that Philadelphia winds up taking a series lead tonight against Boston. I find that extremely hard to believe. And, of course, we're still waiting on whether or not Wembanyama is going to play tonight. If he doesn't, can we see a scenario where Portland goes up 2-1? So the NBA playoffs after the first 2 days, where 7 of the 8 games were decided by double figures, we got a lot of series that are either upside down or they're even in a game apiece. So it's been very good.
And CJ McCollum, NBA superstar, taking down those Knicks 1 game at a time. I'm a huge fan of it. We got some real hate back in the playoffs. That's what you're talking about. You grew up on the playoffs where teams were contentious. Now we got real hate, real rivalries, and it's good for the sport.
Yep, I love it. Like I said, the first 2 days, the NBA playoffs, not good. I'll hold my hand up, tell you I was dead wrong. It's been very good now, 5-6 days later.
I know that any day of the week, Zaslow Show 2.0 is very good. How can the good people tap in on that?
Yeah, thanks, Theo. Zaslow Show 2.0, wherever you get your podcasts. We cover everything Miami, everything South Florida sports related. Just search Zaslow Show 2.0. Please like, rate, comment, subscribe to all that good stuff. It helps me. It's great for the algorithm. And every episode is presented by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733.
Zaz, enjoy the playoffs both on the ice and on the hardwood, and also, just read up on those round 7 Dolphins picks, man. They might be starters for you.
Hey, I don't know about that. I'm going to be living my life this weekend, Theo. Great job, Theo. Thank you, pal.
Appreciate you, Zaz. Enjoy the weekend. That is our guy, Jonathan Zaslow. He's the voice of the 305. He's our resident Fins fan, alongside also Damian Perez, who's going to be locked in on what happens here in day 2 and day 3 of the NFL draft. The happy hour on the other side, it's your boy Theo Dorsey. That is Damian Perez. We are Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey everybody, it's Cade Chumsland. Every week, Land Rover Palm Beach supports local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community by naming a Player of the Week. This year, $35,000 will be awarded to student athletes and their schools. Tune in to ESPN West Palm High School Game Day every Friday night as I unveil this week's featured athlete. If you have a great performance that I need to know about, DM us at ESPN West Palm. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
At Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium this season, every Palm Beach Cardinals Saturday home game, they become the Palm Beach Frozen Iguanas. For 12 Saturday games, we're breaking the ice with the special Frozen Iguanas Ice Cold 12-pack ticket package for just $99, which includes a ticket to all Frozen Iguanas games, a guaranteed Bobbletail giveaway, merchandise discount, commemorative green baseball, and more. RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com. Join the cold front today.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121, or visit tworld.com today.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with George Teixeira, partner and practice leader of Anshin's Financial Services Group.
When launching a private investment fund, proper structuring could mean the difference between high tax bills and smart tax savings. The new One Big Beautiful Bill Act permanently extends the 20% deduction on qualified business income, makes favorable changes to exclusions of gains of qualified small business stock, and brings back full expensing on capital investments. For fund managers, this means new opportunities to reduce taxable income and improve cash flow. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we specialize in building tax-efficient structures that help funds and their investors make the right decisions today for greater success tomorrow. If you are launching a fund in this new environment, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Need an extra boost? With Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union, you can earn up to $700 each year with a 7.0% annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's real money for real moments, like a family getaway or treating yourself to something special. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 29 national championships, including the reigning champs in swimming and diving, lacrosse, and tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
Being a homeowner like me means knowing who to call. For power, you called an electrician. Pipes, a plumber. And for better water, you call Culligan. They've been improving water for 90 years, with local experts handling everything from water softening to filtration, using the world's most efficient systems. Culligan, the one partner you can trust for everything your water touches. Schedule your free water test today at Culligan.com, serving all of South Florida.
Hey, Culligan man!
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man, your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. It is your boy Theo Dorsey. This is Theoretically Speaking, round 2 and 3 of the NFL draft tonight. Round 1 in the rear view. The Dolphins, 2 picks. They come away with a corner and a tackle. The Las Vegas Raiders, first pick. They get their franchise quarterback, they hope, in Fernando Mendoza. And then, of course, we had the other several stories of the draft, like the Jets getting 3 picks, sneaking one in at 30. You had the New York Giants picking at 5 and 10. They go with Arvell Reese out of Ohio State and Francis C.C. Mauinoa out of the University of Miami, edge rusher and a tackle to anchor both sides of the trenches for John Harbaugh's new look New York Giants. And maybe one of the sneaky, but I'm sure it won't be sneaky for too long because these guys know how to put headlines out there. Headlines of the draft is going to be number 11. The Dolphins trade back with the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys trade up, and they select what some people consider the most cerebral, one of the most intelligent, one of the most football smart players on either side of the ball in this draft, and that is Ohio State safety Caleb Downs, who is going to go and try and turn around a defense that I believe was last in the league in points allowed last year. He is going to be a huge add. They also doubled back and got a Keldrick Falk from Auburn, an edge rusher later on. So it was an NFL draft packed with action, packed with trades. We had 16 transactions in the first round alone, so we expect it to be a busy day tonight as well. And then on day 3, who knows which way things go. We don't have a Shedeur Sanders level story on our hands here, but we do have some quarterbacks that are likely going to go off the board, guys like our guy Carson Beck. Theoretically speaking, it's a feel-good Friday. It's Friday, April 24th. Damian Perez is back in the studio on the other side of the glass. And what I'll tell you, Damian, is if you're a person that is a franchise, you're a fan of a franchise and you don't know how to feel about your team right now, I would say, hey, pump the brakes. You feel right now the same way I felt when I was first a homeowner, when I first became this newly minted title some 4 years ago in South Florida here, a homeowner, a person who purchased a home. We signed off on it. We got it over the line, and now here I am. I walk in, I get the keys, I open the door, and I'm like, oh, man, this thing also comes with a lot of problems. But that's the thing, though, as a homeowner, you learn easily and quickly how to deal with certain problems. The power goes out, you call an electrician. Issue with the pipes, call a plumber. What about the stuff that goes through those pipes? How do you get good water in your home? Well, then it wasn't until a couple of years later I learned about Culligan water. And Culligan has been essential to my home. It has been a foundational piece. It has been a franchise player. I've been rocking with Culligan now going on a little over a year. I have a reverse osmosis system. I have a water softener as well. And when I tell you these two systems together impact my quality of life in a way in which I would have never assumed, it has been great. Florida is known for having some of the worst water in all of America. Look it up yourself. Worst states when it comes to water. Florida's always going to be in that bottom tier. I didn't realize this. Once I found out, I hit up Culligan, Culligan.com. I had them come to my house, test my water, and they were able to tell me exactly what was in it. Pharmaceuticals, pollutants. Think about like all the plastics and stuff that go. We're not doing a good enough job as a state of getting this stuff out. That's why Culligan serves all of South Florida, residential or commercial, and they can service you as well. Free water test, Culligan.com, and then from there, they'll tell you what you need. They'll tell you how they can help. They'll tell you how you can improve your quality of life. Culligan.com, get that free water test like I did. And again, Can't tell you how to feel as a fan of a franchise that always gets these drafts wrong. I can tell you how to act as a homeowner, and that is go to Culligan.com and get that free water test. Get yourself right. Damian, we saw that Jonathan Zaslow, voice for 305, Zaslow Show 2.0, our friend here on ESPN 106.3, not too pleased with the Dolphins draft, specifically them taking Caden Proctor at 12. I thought the draft board and everything fell perfectly to them. There were like 11 or 12 elite prospects, guys with enormous ceilings, at least from my POV of reading about these guys as well as just watching a lot of college football. These were the guys you wanted to go home with, and there were 2 left when the Dolphins came on the clock at 11. There was Caleb Downs, who famously started for Nick Saban as a defensive back his freshman year at Alabama before transferring to Ohio State and immediately becoming their best defender over the next 2 years. Caleb Downs was available, the safety from Ohio State, and the Dolphins need secondary help. And then there was also Reuben Bain Jr., 9.5 sacks last year, the leader of the defense for the Miami Hurricanes, the guy who was the biggest threat, the biggest dude that people had to game plan around and change the way in which they block things to make sure that that guy didn't wreck the game. Reuben Bain Jr. was also available. So when I got the news, when I saw the notification, okay, look at it. Oh, Dolphins are trading back to 12 with the Dallas Cowboys. I said, perfect. General Manager John Eric Sullivan, who comes down from the Green Bay Packers, he knows what he's doing. My guy Jeff Hafley, defensive-minded head coach, former defensive coordinator with the Green Bay Packers, former head coach at Boston College. These guys know what they're doing. They realize there's 2 potentially elite prospects on the board. We can trade back with a defense-needy team like the Cowboys, get a couple of later picks to backfill this roster, and at 12, we're going to get either Caleb Downs or Reuben Bain. Who'd y'all get at 12, Damian?
Proctor. I know, left tackle.
Caden Proctor. Caden Proctor, left tackle, Alabama, and he could work out. It could work out. But Caden Proctor, left tackle out of Alabama, a guy who has the size, the strength. He has the play style you would want out of a potential tackle, as a potential, tone setter on the offensive side in the trenches. But he also comes with the question marks about whether or not he is somebody who you don't have to stay on all offseason, somebody who can't get lost in the sauce, somebody who doesn't need to be motivated externally. And if you're trying to set a new culture and start a new wave in Miami, the last thing I would assume you need is a guy who you're worried about when he leaves your facility. Now, it's not a character issue. I want to stress this, Damian, because a lot of times you say things like this and people get worried and they start thinking that you're trying to defame a dude's character and him as a person. By all means, it seems like Caden Proctor is a fun teammate, good guy. He won as a senior in high school the Anthony Munoz Award. He is a very highly rated recruit, a 5-star player coming out of high school before he went to Bama. Nothing about him strikes me as a guy who is going to derail the things you have going on. But there's also, when you have Nick Saban saying it wasn't, it felt more like a maturity issue. You start hearing the reports about him potentially coming into camp overweight, him not doing the things that he's supposed to do at home. And you talk about what integrity and accountability is. It's about what you do when people aren't looking. And Caden Proctor apparently wasn't upholding the standard for Alabama. And that's partially why, even though he has the size and the measurement and every look of a guy that should go top 5 as a tackle, is partially why he was available at 12. The Dolphins drafted a question mark at 12. I don't think they had the room for error to be doing something like that. I just don't. Reuben Bain was right there.
They don't. And I hope the fact that he was drafted and a team had the placed their confidence in him, drafted him with a very valuable pick. You hope that kind of motivates someone to really, dig deep and want to prove people wrong. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the situation similar in the Miami Heat. They drafted Khalil Ware, who's a great player. He has great character, but the question with Khalil Ware was his motor. How motivated is he? Does he put in the extra work? It's a similar situation with the Miami Dolphins, except we haven't seen it yet, and this is a brand new regime. And the interesting point that Zaz made, this was an opportunity to really endear with the fans down here in Miami. I mean, Ruben Bain played college football at UM, right in the backyard, right at the crib. This was an opportunity to really get off on the right foot with the fan base, and you didn't even have to reach to do it. You know, you got a guy that had great draft stock going in and that dropped for who knows why, what reason it was that he dropped. You were getting a steal at 12, and you passed up on that opportunity. So hope to see the rest of the draft. I keep saying this. I really hope to see that this rest of the draft is a home run, but the start was a bit iffy.
Yeah, it feels iffy, and I'm not, again, you can never judge these things too tightly on the very day afterward. You never know how things pan out. Maybe Caden Proctor becomes Trent Williams. Maybe Ruben Bain becomes an afterthought. I doubt it, but that's possible. That's possible. What I will say is, like you said and like Zaslow said, it would have been it felt like a home run pick because of the proximity to the fan base, because of the culture setting that he did for the Miami Hurricanes. It felt like the easy pick, and maybe there's something to that. Maybe I'm trying to give room for error here because I do have a lot of faith in the way that these guys are talking. Maybe Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan know something that we don't know about Proctor or potentially even about Bain, and that is what influenced them to make that selection. Either way, you got to live with it at this point, and you are in a situation where any player is likely an upgrade from what you got right now because all of the good talent you had, you offloaded for picks or you cut for salary cap implications. So the Dolphins in an interesting spot. The Dolphins are picking 11th, 43rd overall, but 11th in the second round here tonight, and we'll see which way they go with that one. Damian, I think it's time we take a little trip, man. We talked about the motor not being there for Proctor or for Khalil Ware. The motor's working on the get-around. Today's get-around, we're not just hitting high school basketball like I'm doing here at Kaiser University. We're not just hitting NBA postseason action. On today's get-around, we got a little draft in there as well. It's a variety of things. So no matter what you like in sports, you'll love the get-around. Where we going first, Damien?
Next stop.
Like you said, Theo, we got it all today, but we're going to start at the association in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Atlanta Hawks take a 2-1 series lead over the New York Knicks after a 1-point win. And even though it was close, the Knicks were basically playing from behind the entire night. How much trouble are the New York Knicks in?
I've been saying since before the postseason started, I've been saying literally since last year when the Detroit Pistons had the Knicks on the ropes in the first round, and I do believe the Pistons were the better team, but the Knicks won the series because they were more experienced. I've been saying that this is an unserious operation, and a team led by Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns is not going to be a serious contender in today's NBA. And what's bearing out now is exactly what bared out last year when the Pistons, again, should have beat the Knicks, but the Knicks escaped. I think the difference here is the Hawks have the length, the athleticism, and they have the veteran presence of a guy like C.J. McCollum who's able to be a closer, who's been in these spots before. And that's why you're seeing them actually win these games that the Pistons kind of let fall away. This series, to me, is playing out very similarly to how we saw that Pistons series play out, but there was no McCollum for the Pistons. McCollum last night, we know the dagger. The dagger, he had a game winner he finished it with. He was 23 points, 8 for 19 from the field, 2 for 4 from deep. It wasn't the most electric game. It wasn't it wasn't like you walk away from this saying, oh my gosh, I got to go get me a CJ McCollum jersey. But you do walk away from this saying he is a stabilizing presence. He is a guy they can go to late in games. And as long as Jalen Johnson is hooping, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is hooping, as long as they're getting good minutes out of Onyeka Okongwu, they're going to always be in it, and it's going to come down to who can make big shots in the end. Jalen Brunson was absolutely horrendous this game.
Yeah, and in the last
he got called out.
In the last possession, he turned it over.
He was horrendous throughout the game and down the stretch. 0 for 5 from deep, 3 turnovers, including the most pivotal of the game where he gave it back to the Hawks. And now the Hawks have a 2-1 lead. They have home court advantage, and they got a chance to go up 3-1 in Game 4, going back to Madison Square Garden, where the Hawks were also the better team.
And they actually took Brunson off the court on that possession where McCollum hit the game winner.
Yeah, they put what's his name McBride on him.
McBride, that's what it was.
They put McBride on him.
Which
Miles McBride.
How do you not put Josh Hart in that situation?
I just don't know. here's the thing. There are imperfectly built teams. You got OG Anunoby as well. I like his length and his strength, but you're an imperfectly built team, and it's like no matter who they put on them, there will be a way to second guess it or question it.
McBride, I mean, we talk about Mike Brown and potentially being fired if they don't win the series. I mean, to put McBride on a player like McCollum, who's been on absolute fire this series.
McBride's solid, though. McBride, I trust him in that spot.
That's not your best defender. I would have put Josh Hart. Yeah, I would have put Josh Hart. You know, he's physical enough where he could have gotten physical on that play with McCollum.
Maybe that's what I would have to ask Knicks fans who they feel most comfortable with in an isolation situation like that. I'm cool with McBride being the defender in that situation. I just think CJ McCollum was better. Good D, better O. Good D, better O. We both called this, by the way, yesterday.
Yes, we did. We did, and I actually have the audio if you wanna cue to it.
Take a listen to Damian Perez and myself, Theo Dorsey. If you want good tips on what's going to happen the night going ahead, you can either ask me about the NFL draft, which I beat out Mel Kiper's mock draft, or you can ask me about the playoffs. Take a listen. And everything we said panned out. Jalen Johnson, 24 points, 10 boards, 8 assists. Messed around, almost had a triple-double, and McCollum finished them out. Hawks in 6.
Next stop.
Let's stay in the NBA, but this time let's go to Minnesota because after Game 2, Jaden McDaniels did not hold back, essentially calling out every starter by their first and last name and basically saying none of them can defend. With all eyes on the response, and instead the Nuggets come out last night and lose by 17. Now down 2-1 in the series to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Will the Nuggets respond in Game 4, or are the Wolves more likely to go up 3-1?
The Nuggets quit last night. The Nuggets had no, we talk about we're worried about whether or not Caden Proctor is self-motivated. They had no motivation to continue at a certain point. By halftime, they wanted nothing to do with that basketball game, and they were looking forward to being, they were looking forward to that nice rest, that nice sleep they were going to get in their hotels in Minneapolis. That was absolutely embarrassing. To be called out by name, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Cameron Johnson, Christian Brown. Who else did he call? I think he called out Tim Hardaway Jr.
Who didn't even play. He caught a stray. He wasn't even there last night.
Aaron Gordon was out. To be called out by name and then to let that very guy not only lock you up on one side of the court, but then go 20 points, 10 boards, 9 for 13 from the field. Jaden McDaniels, I remember it was 3 or 4 years ago where Anthony Edwards said, yeah, they got KD, we got Jaden McDaniels, and people laughed. I wonder if the Rockets are looking at Jaden McDaniels like, damn, we wish we had him right now too, bro.
And that's a player who he's the best defender on the court, saving apart from Gobert, and he's producing on the offensive end. And after the game, talking smack. I mean, talk about a player you want on your team, especially in the playoffs.
That is an Anthony Edwards-led team. They go via the spirit of Ant-Man. Ant did not finish the game. He pulled out with about 8 minutes left. He had 17 points. Whenever you can get two guys to outscore Anthony Edwards, that is a good sign. Both Jaden McDaniels and Ayo Dosunmu both outscored Ant-Man. If he can get help with playmaking, with scoring off the dribble, if he can get help with guys threatening on the offensive side, and of course you're always going to have Julius Randle being a force too. I saw that 1-2 and then the lefty dunk he had where he kind
towards
of
the end of the
right
game.
past.
That was pretty much the dagger right there.
The Timberwolves bullied the Nuggets last night. They broke their will last night. The Nuggets are now. If you didn't respond when Jaden McDaniels called you out after they beat you on your home court and tied it up 1-1, what makes me think you're going to respond when I watched you drop the rope last night in Minnesota? I think this series is all but done now. I'm good on it. I'm going to keep watching it because I love watching the Timberwolves. I think, though, that the Timberwolves have their number unless the absence of Aaron Gordon was that important to the structure of the Nuggets offense and defense.
Good point.
I just do not see a way in which – I don't see a way in which you have any hope that the Nuggets survive this series based on what we saw last night from the T-Wolves.
Yeah, they better hope Aaron Gordon comes back like Superman.
Both teams shot poorly, too.
Yeah, not the best team.
The Timberwolves had their way.
Let's shift gears to the draft. Let's go to Arizona, where the Arizona Cardinals sat at number 3 last night and turned heads by drafting Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. not because of talent concerns, but because of positional value. Was drafting Love at 3 a mistake if you're Arizona?
This is what I'll say. Drafting Love at 3 is going to feel like a mistake this year because the Cardinals stink. Their offensive line isn't that great, and he's not going to be that effective or impact winning. 2 or 3 years from now, drafting Jeremiah Love, they are going to look like geniuses because once they do build the foundation around him, once they do fortify that line, once they do complement the passing attack in a way in which now you can't load up the box, I do think he can come out of this draft looking like the best player from that draft. Like, think about Christian McCaffrey with the Panthers back in the day. Saquon Barkley with the Eagles. Last year, Ashton Genty with the Las Vegas Raiders. Nobody
Panthers
thinks
had
these
Cam
guys
Newton,
are bad
though.
players.
Didn't they have Cam Newton when they drafted McCaffrey?
Yeah. McCaffrey was able to play with Cam Newton, so sure. But what I'm saying is these are not – and the Panthers got him at like 8 or so. So what is bad? He wasn't even the first running back off. I think Leonard Fournette went ahead of McCaffrey that year.
Top 10 regardless.
I'm just saying – yeah, I'm saying a top 10 running back, if he is really special, which everybody is telling me Jeremiah Love is, but by the way, the Miami Hurricanes held him to 10 carries, 33 yards. That's neither here nor there. If he's as special as everybody's saying, if he's Bijan Robinson level special, I do think that he's worth the number 3 overall pick. But if we're grading it today, it's a D. If we're grading it at the end of the season, it's probably going to look like an F. 2 or 3 years from now, though, the future of the Cardinals franchise is going to be much brighter because they have a for sure prospect at a position that I think is having a bit of a revival. Like, look at what the Chiefs went and did this offseason. They went and got the Super Bowl MVP, Ken Walker, off the Seattle Seahawks. Look at all of the great quarterbacks in the league right now. And look at who they got behind them. Lamar Jackson turns around and sees Derrick Henry. You know, James Cook is the guy that's lining up behind Josh Allen right now. Joe Burrow's even got a solid rusher in Chase Brown behind him. The teams are reprioritizing the running back position because the run game is being more and more important in the NFL. The Cardinals look foolish only because they were picking at 3. Because if you tell me that the Titans would have been smart to pick him at 4 or the Giants would have been smart to pick him at 5, we're talking about a marginal difference that literally came down to a tiebreaker because these teams had the same record.
And
I like Jeremiah Love at 3. And I like the Cardinals in 3 years.
It also means Jeremiah Love, since he was picked at 3, he's getting paid Jonathan Taylor money, $13 million a year. You know, for a running back.
Might be Jonathan Taylor good.
Yeah, but that's a lot of pressure for a rookie coming into the league, especially on his first year.
Wants it.
To a team that I don't think was built to drop in a running back. But they do have a lot of pieces, the Cardinals. I will say, I mean, you got Trey McBride, who's arguably one of the best tight ends in the league. You got Marvin Harrison, but you really need to figure out that line and the quarterback.
Hey, that's a lot to try and hold. And Michael Wilson. That's a lot to try to figure out. And I bet you there are going to be quarterbacks from this NFL draft lining up to join that Cardinals franchise next year based on what they've built with those weapons. Like, that is – talk about being able to hit the easy button. The Cardinals are in the perfect position to get a quarterback next year.
Next stop.
Let's go to Pittsburgh, where the draft actually took place, where former USC receiver Makai Lemon was literally on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers thinking he was the pick until the Philadelphia Eagles swooped in, traded up, and took him instead. If you're a receiver, what's the better landing spot, the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Philadelphia Eagles?
It's the Eagles. The Steelers don't even know who's going to be throwing you the football. And by the way, even if it is Aaron Rodgers, there's even more uncertainty as to who's going to be throwing you the football next year because your quarterback room now is what? Will Howard. And did they get Pickett back? Who's the other guy in there? It's Will Howard. Is it Mason Rudolph again?
Yeah,
I can't even remember
Mason
who the
Rudolph.
heck.
It's Mason Rudolph.
It's Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, and
Question mark.
Aaron Rodgers is a possible. That is not the Steelers do not seem like a fun franchise to be playing for right now in 2026, especially given the fact that they are waiting on hands and knees at the beckoning of Aaron Rodgers to figure out when he wants to return to play football again, this game that he says he loves. I would have hated it for Makai Lemon if he had to go out there to the Steel City and have to figure that out. I am loving the fact that he gets to now go play for an Eagles franchise that's going to trade A.J. Brown and that is going to now pump more juice into their offensive system and likely lean more into the pass and passing it over the middle, whereas that's where Makai Lemon wins a lot. I'm a fan of this move. I think the Eagles are better for this move. And I do think that once A.J. Brown is traded and that wide receiver room clears up, it'll look a lot more clean as to, a wide receiver room that's Devonta Smith, Mekhi Lemon, and maybe like Hollywood Brown or whoever else is the number 3. Like, he's going to fit in well. He's a dog, too.
Yeah, I actually wanted him in Miami. That was another pick that the Miami Dolphins.
It would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have been a great pick.
He's an absolute dog. He's another culture setter. He's a dog. He blocks even though he's a little undersized. Like, Mekhi Lemon is the guy that you would want on your football team, and Howie Roseman saw that, and he took the opportunity. Really awkward, though, for the Steelers. Really awkward.
Next stop.
Now let's end this get around at the NBA headquarters in New York, because tonight we have 3 game 3s. The Celtics 76ers, the Lakers Rockets, and the Spurs Trailblazers. What are your predictions for tonight's games?
Woo. Can we see? I've been waiting to see if we're going to get the information. Do we have anything on Victor Wembanyama yet?
The last I saw is that he was partaking in cardio and had no setbacks and is officially questionable.
Yes. Okay, so he's increased activity in advance of tonight's game. I saw Scoot Henderson in the locker room talking about how he would love it if Wemby was available. They want to play the they want to play the Spurs at their best. Here's what I'll say. Wemby or not, the Spurs are going to win tonight. And the reason why, they played the Blazers 3 times in the regular season without Wemby. And guess what their Spurs record was against Portland?
Was it 3-0?
3-0. 3-0. Last time they played, they had a game plan that was centered around Wemby obviously being there, and he goes down in the second quarter, and the Blazers sneak away with the win. If Wemby is available tonight, Mitch Johnson's going to have them ready to center it around Wembanyama. They're going to get their get back, and they likely walk out of here with a gentleman's sweep. If Wemby doesn't play, same thing. Mitch Johnson's going to have them ready, have a game plan centered around Wemby not being available, and they'll have to have guys like Luke Cornett be – I need you more concerned with grabbing boards and being a defensive stopper and hitting open shots than you are with shutting down Magic City Monday, Luke Cornett. That's all I ask. If Wemby ain't there, you're going to have to lock in. And hop off of Reddit or whatever he was posting his anti-Magic City Monday rhetoric, even though the Spurs weren't playing in that game. Hop off of that and get locked in, because the Spurs going to need you tonight if Wemby ain't there. But I got Spurs. What were the other games you had? The
Celtics, who actually lost to the 76ers in their last game. Series is tied 1-1. That series is going off to Philadelphia.
Yeah. I got the Celtics, man. I got the Celtics. This is the Celtics, man. They have a lack of focus here and there. Sometimes they let things slip. VJ Edgecombe ain't going to catch them by surprise again. So I got Celtics over the Sixers on the road. I got the Rockets showing some fight, some bounce back. Ime Udoka ain't going down like that against the Lakers.
Is this a must-win for the Rockets, would you say?
Yes. It's always a must-win when you're down 2-0, especially at home.
First game at home, too.
You got to win it. You got to win that if you're the Rockets. You got to even this series up in Houston. So they're going to win tonight, and the Spurs are also going to steal one on the road.
Are you shocked with the series being at 2-0 in favor of the Lakers right now?
Yes, I am, because I didn't think that the Lakers had enough juice. But then again, you got to remember, if LeBron is going to look excellent or at his peak in these playoffs, it's going to be earlier on and not later on, because I don't know how much energy he's going to have to keep carrying this team the way that he's been doing. That's not a knock on LeBron. He's doing it well, but again, he's still 41, 42 years old. How long can he continue to be that focal point with Luka and Reeves sideline? So
Which Austin Reeves is actually questionable for tonight, and I think he'll make his return.
If Reeves comes back, it'll make things more interesting, but I don't even think that moves the needle that much. The Rockets are in must-win territory, and I think the Rockets get one here. If they don't win here, then they might as well not show up for Game 4.
Pack it up.
KD ain't going down like that. I would hope not. Where we going next?
That was actually the 5th stop.
That is it. That was the get around.
But
today,
if you want a bonus,
Sports Grill.
If you want a bonus, Theo, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. I feel like we haven't talked about, and the Giants. I'll include the Giants in this because there were two teams that had two first-round picks last night. And to be honest, Theo, I think they hit it out of the ballpark. What do you think?
I love what the Cowboys did. Malachi Lawrence, the edge, he's not getting talked about enough. They got him in the 20s. But most importantly, Caleb Downs. I think they got the most cerebral player in the draft. They got the safety out of Ohio State, who's been the best player on defense in college football for the past 2 years. Somehow he falls all the way to 11, and the Dolphins were like, oh, no, thank you. We want the questionable guy out of Alabama. So love the Caleb Downs pick. And then for the Giants, I love CeCe Maui Noah. I think he's going to play at guard for the Giants, even though he can play tackle as well. He is a force. He's going to really help out with protecting Jackson Dart and also opening up lanes for what is going to be a very brutal, run-heavy football team. And then Arvell Reese is versatile. You know, I like Arvell. I think like the Giants did well for themselves. Here's one omen I will give you, though, Damian. The last time the Giants had 2 picks in the top 10 was 2022. They went offensive tackle. They went edge rusher. Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. Neither one of those picks worked out the way that they wanted them to, and they went tackle and edge rusher again. Hopefully this time it does. Flip of the coin, right?
Yeah, that's actually.
By the way, what does this say for Kayvon Thibodeau's future with the team? As they now have a decision to make because they got 18,000 edge rushers in that room. Take a listen to this question you're going to hear posed towards General Manager Joe Schoen and head coach John Harbaugh. And you can tell which one is Harbaugh, and you can also tell which one is the actual boss.
You mentioned Kayvon's name. Does this give you flexibility to potentially move on from him, or are you planning to keep Kayvon Thibodeau?
No. We keep all the good players as much as we can, right?
Yep.
We love Kayvon.
Yep.
Harbaugh jumped in and said, we keep all the good players as much as we can.
And looked at Shane.
Turns over to Joe Schoen and says, ain't that right? And Shane nodding his head, yep. Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they had a discussion in the back room about this.
It's almost like one of them actually has the keys to the franchise and the other one is along for the ride. It's almost like if things don't go well, the person that's going to get axed is not the head coach, but it is the general manager, which is probably correct. But that's why I kind of feel for Joe Schoen, because he is beholden to all of Harbaugh's choices, and he has to hope that he makes the right one, because Joe Schoen's job is in Harbaugh's hands. He's not just the head coach. He is the general manager and the football decision maker for that franchise, and he better hope that he got these 2 picks right, because 3-4 years ago, Joe Schoen screwed that one up, and that's the very reason why he's on the hot seat yet again. We will see what any of that pans out to be. What I can tell you right now is that Duffy's Sports Grill is the place to be if you want your 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day, but then also if you want to be able to pull up and watch a bunch of different action all at once, because they got 80 or more television screens in every single location. My guy Devontae is in the YouTube chat right now talking about how there's no pressure when you're built like that. Speaking of Jeremiah Love and how he, with the Cardinals, is going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Well, there's no pressure for the Duffy staff when their menu is built the way that it's built. All right, we're talking about the amazing mozzarella sticks. We're talking about award-winning burgers and jumbo wings. Duffy's Sports Grill is the place to be. It's the place to go when you pull up in Florida. If you're wondering, what are we going to eat today? How about a power plate with Duffy's? $13.99. Oh, well, you must be getting scraps. Must be getting scraps with that deal. I know it. I know how it's like. You get a good deal like that, there's no way I'm getting full. Not at Duffy's Sports Grill. At Duffy's, you get a side, an entree, and a drink for $13.99. I'm talking about a real entree. I'm talking about something that's going to fill you up. I'm talking about one of those juicy, made-to-order, award-winning burgers, along with a side and a drink, and you're out the door. Don't take a lot of thought. That's the Duffy's Power Play. That's just one of the many things that you can enjoy at a Duffy's Sports Grill. Duffy'sMVP.com is the website. Find the nearest one to you. Start tracking your awards today. At Duffy's, our game is always on.
Theo, you think Mendoza catered some Duffy's last night? I know he's a fan.
Oh, come on. He's a huge fan of Duffy's. He was in Miami. Maybe that's why he didn't want to go to Pittsburgh. He wanted to be able to enjoy some Duffy's on the couch.
You don't got
with
Duffy's
his
in
family.
Pittsburgh. You got to stay at the crib for that.
You got to be at the crib for that. Plus, he about to be in Vegas. He's going to be away from that Duffy's for quite some time. Mendoza is a known Duffy's fan, and Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall pick. I'm sure he's getting every last bit of his Duffy's he can before he has to take that trip to Vegas, where Duffy's hasn't moved out to yet. But maybe not if they know Mendoza's out
He'll
there.
bring him with him.
Might have to make a move. It's theoretically speaking, it's the happy hour on the other side. A little preview of what we got going on tonight here at Kaiser University as we get ready to see some of the best talent that the whole state has to offer on the hardwood. That's Damian Perez. I'm Theo Dorsey. We are Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Whether you need batteries, tires, or services, we know you depend on your vehicle. You can depend on St. Lucie Battery and Tire with the largest inventories, expert technicians, and a best price out the door every day guaranteed. you'll drive away with confidence. Life doesn't stop, and neither should your car. St. Lucie Battery and Tire is here for you. Our experts keep your vehicle ready with batteries, tires, and service you can trust. Fast, friendly, and always reliable.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, and I'm here to talk about printing. Banyan Printing and Signs is ESPN West Palm's official print partner, and they are nothing short of amazing. Their quality is top-notch, their turnaround time is quick, and their team is helpful, which makes a huge difference. For over 10 years, ESPN West Palm has trusted Banyan Printing with our brand, so if you're looking for a printing partner, they are the best. You can find them online at banyanonline.com or give them a call at 561-586-6220.
Since 2006, EDS Air Conditioning has kept Palm Beach County comfortable through every summer, every storm, and every season in between. EDS Air Conditioning is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. From dial thermostats to today's smart home systems, EDS delivers reliable comfort you can count on. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, they've earned your trust. 20 years of keeping Palm Beach cool. Visit EDSisyes.com today.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 29 national championships, including the reigning champs in swimming and diving, lacrosse, and tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
The Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals are back in Jupiter all summer long, 6 days a week at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Come enjoy the best ticket deals and membership packages in Palm Beach County, like Silver Slugger Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Kids Club Saturdays, the Frozen Iguanas, and so much more. To purchase tickets, membership packages, and find out more information on the Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals, visit RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Robert Gilman, partner and leader of Anshin's Real Estate Group.
Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, 100% bonus depreciation has been permanently reinstated. Real estate businesses are now able to immediately expense the full cost of qualifying property. Even projects with millions in improvements can benefit from first-year expensing without any spending cap. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we strategically guide real estate businesses through these legislative changes to help them develop a long-term investment strategy and boost cash flow. If you're a real estate professional looking to enhance profitability and minimize tax liabilities, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2026 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2026 Defender 110 P300S for just $909 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Time now for the coolest moment of the week. Presented by EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing. EDS is yes.
Never a good sign when an athlete on your team on the basketball court has both hands on the hardwood like he's playing Twister, but that is the predicament that Bones Highland put Spencer Jones in last night in the Timberwolves win. Here's the call, courtesy of Prime Video.
1 of 8 from downtown. That's the second time that Spencer has touched the ground.
He took that one from St. Paul. He was so far away.
Kevin Harlan. And I think you heard the voice of Dwayne Wade right there. On the call for Prime Video, NBA's Prime Video, the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets 113-96. Bones Highland only had 6 points. 3 of them came on that play where he took a triple that was from about 30 feet deep after dropping Spencer Jones to where he had both paws on the ground. Looked like he was lining up for the twerk team. And you know what? I will say the only ones dancing after last night were the Timberwolves fans who got to see their team go up 2-1. 113-96 to win. They go up 2-1. They take the spirit out of the Nuggets, and that is your EDS coolest moment of the week. EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, keeping you cool. And you're going to want to cool down a little bit if you are a Nuggets fan, because I know y'all are heated, absolutely heated with the effort and the display that the Nuggets put on last night. But, you know, as a person who understands frustration, but then also as a person who understands getting a little bit overboiled, a little heated, I'm glad that I got EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, because here in South Florida, as the weather is piercing day over day, I'm wearing all black today, so I know as that sun is poking through, it's coming. And when it does, you don't want it to take over your house. It can take over the outside. You don't want it to take over your house as well. So you're going to want to get in with EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing. They are right now offering 0% down, 60 months, 0 interest, not 0% down, 60 months, 0 interest financing right now to customers that are qualified. And the only way for you to know is if you go to ESPN's friendly place, which is EDSIsYes.com. I'm getting distracted by all the EDS signing out here at Kaiser. But what I will say is there's nothing distracting about the good things that can happen when you do welcome EDS into your home. I'm a Gold Plan member, and as a Gold Plan member here with EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, I get 2 check-ins every year, preventative care and repair. They are trained comfort specialists, so they're going to be able to come in there and give you the best of the best when it comes to equipment and when it comes to their quality of service. It gets no better than EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, and they've been giving you that same service here in South Florida for 20 years now. It's their 20-year anniversary. So tap in with EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing. See how they can get you right, especially ahead of the summer here. EDSIsYes.com. No better time than now to lock in with the good people. EDSIsYes.com. So, Damian, tonight here at Kaiser University, we are going to be streaming this thing as well. We do have the ESPN Top 63 Awards. This is the second year we're doing it on the basketball hardwood. We're ranking the underclassmen that are coming back for high school basketball, 1 through 63, girls and boys. We've got some elite level talent that have been here throughout this week. Shout out to everybody that's been putting things together, both on the Perseverance team and the ESPN West Palm team, and of course our host of Kaiser University. We had a electric all-star game on Wednesday here at Kaiser. Yesterday we took to the Perseverance gym in West Boynton, and we had everybody through for a community day where the very athletes that we're honoring, the all-senior team members and the top 63 athletes, all of them were able to actually run kids through a drill, through a skills and drills type camp at Perseverance's gym last night, and that was a special occasion. And, of course, tonight is what it all culminates in. It is a draft night style event. Kids are going to be showing up in their best dressed. They're going to walk the red carpet. They are going to kick it with our partners here, Sinorama. We got DJ Stryker on the ones and the twos. We got Culligan pulling up to help the good people out. This is going to be an exciting event, Damian, and I'm excited to be able to honor these kids because high school basketball deserves an even greater spotlight than we already give it, and we're going to keep on pumping that spotlight up as the talent keeps on showing off and showing out here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast. I'm stoked.
Awesome to hear, Theo.
Damian, next up is Russo and Rizzo. I believe they're doing it right here from Kaiser University as well. So they'll be talking to you more about this Top 63 event. They'll also have some draft recap. I know Mike Rizzo is a little upset with how his Browns traded back, but I love what they got in Casey Concepcion and in Fano, the tackle. Dolphins fans, cheer up. There'll be better days. Go in love. Go in peace. Go enjoy.
Banyan Printing, your trusted partner for all your printing and signage needs. With 48 years of local service,